विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू गुरु एंड गौरंग, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू शिल प्रभुपाद, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। ओके, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Okay. Canto 3, chapter 15, text 14. बसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ए निमित्त निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिं। बसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ए निमित्त निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिं। बसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ए निमित्त निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिं। प्रभु जी, बसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ये निमित्त निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिं। बसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ये निमित्त निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिं। बसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ये निमित्त निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिं। Okay, word for word translation. Basanti, they live. Yatra, where. Purushaha, persons. Sarve, all. Vaikunthamurtayaha, having a four-handed form similar to that of the Supreme Lord. Vishnu, ye, Supreme Lord Vishnu, ye, those Vaikuntha persons, animitta, without desire for sense gratification, nimittena, caused by, dharmena, by devotional service, aradhayan, continuously worshipping, harim, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Translation. In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desire for sense gratification. Purport. The residents and the form of living in Vaikuntha are described in this verse. The residents are all like the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. In the Vaikuntha planets, Krishna's plenary feature as four-handed Narayana is predominating deity, and the residents of Vaikuntha Loka are also four-handed, just contrary to our conception here in the material world. Nowhere in the material world do we find a human being with four hands. In the Vaikuntha Loka, there is no occupation but the service of the Lord, and this service is not rendered with a purpose. Although every service has a particular result, the devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. Their desires are fulfilled by the rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. Okay, translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurube Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Utapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Ditam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurtushe Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare. Okay. Let's read the translation again. In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in the form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in the devotional service of the Lord without desire for sense gratification. Here the word sense gratification is very significant. Actually, all the living entities, we all are, eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa, Krishnera Nityadas. We are the eternal servant of Krishna. We are supposed to be with Krishna in Krishna's planet, Golok Vrindavan. But why are we in the material world? Why are we suffering in the material world? The reason is sense gratification. Because of our desire to gratify our senses. Because of our lusty desires to enjoy separate from Krishna. Because of that reason, actually we are put in the material world, which is just full of miseries and full of sufferings. So for all the living entities, whoever is in the material world, they all just want to gratify their senses. That's why that is the main problem of all the living entities in the material world. Plus, that is the problem. Plus, that is the stumbling block for the sadhakas, for the devotees who want to advance in spiritual life. They may not have gross desire to gratify their senses, but in the mind, inside, there might be some at least little desire to gratify their senses. That's the reason why sense gratification is the stumbling block in the path of our spiritual advancement. There is a story of Saubri Muni. He talks about Saubri Muni in the 9th canto. He talks about sense gratification. What happens is he normally he does austerity, meditation for 60,000 years under the water. And one day he saw the dealings between male fish and the female fish, and he becomes agitated with that. And he comes out of his meditation after 60,000 years in the Satya Yuga. He comes out of meditation, and there is the one king, famous king named Mandata. And he has got 50 princes, very beautiful princes. And the Sobri Muni, he becomes so agitated because of seeing the activities between male fish and female fish, and he goes there and he asks king to give one of the daughter to him. And king being very wise, he says like Sobri Muni is already very very old, and the king is very very wise. How can I give my daughter to this old man? And he makes plan. Okay, you go to my daughter, and if my daughter like you just marry her. Like that king says. And Sobri Muni also very very wise, clever man. And he changes his form into beautiful young man. And when he goes to the princess, all the princess, start fighting with each other. Oh, that person just belong to me, not you, just belong to me. Like that, they all starts to fight. And at last, what happened is the Sobri Muni end up getting married with the 50 princess of the Manda, the king. And he marries them, and he enjoys life, full of sense gratification. Full of sense gratification, he enjoys life. And one day, after many years, one day he comes in realization. Oh man, I was doing austerity like this to obtain the Supreme Personality, but I was doing meditation like this in the person. But see how I have fallen, how I have come down, and how I have become so materialistic, engaged in the sense gratification. So he starts to condemn himself. And for all the persons who wants to achieve supreme destination, for all the person who wants to achieve lotus feet of Krishna, he gives one suggestion. Please repeat after me. Oh, okay, you don't need to repeat. Sangam tyajet mithun bratinam mukshu. Sangam tyajet mithuna pratinam mukshu. Sarvatman visrijeta bahirindriyani. Ekashcharan rahasichit tamananta ishe. Ekashcharan rahasichit tamananta ishe. Yunjita tadbrate shusa dhushu prasanga. Yunjita tadbrate shusa dhushu prasanga. After realizing his mistake, Sobri Muni is giving this suggestion to all the person who want to achieve supreme destination. Sangam tyajet mithuna bratina mumukshu. Sangam tyajet mithuna bratina mumukshu. If one wants to achieve Krishna's lotus feet, he has to Sangam tyajet. He has Sangam tyajet mithuna bratinam. Whoever is engaged in the sense gratification, the person who wants to achieve Krishna's lotus feet, he has to give up the association. Sangam tyajet. He has to give up the association of the person who is engaged in the sense gratification. Plus, sarvatmana visrijet bahirindriyani. Sarvatmana na visrijet bahirindriyani. That means our senses, mind, everything, all senses wants to be independent. They all want to be independent, and they all want to do whatever they want. Sometimes they go crazy like that. But what Sobri Muni says is, Sarvatmana na visrijet. We shouldn't allow our senses to hover like this independently. We should control our senses. He's saying that. And ekascharan rahasi chittamananta ishe. One should stay in the secluded place. Ekascharan rahasi chittamananta ishe. That means one should stay in the secluded place and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is staying in the heart, of all living entities. And at last he says, Yunjita tat brateshu sadhushu prasanga. If you want to do association, you take the association of the sadhus, whoever is walking in the same path like you, who also wants to achieve the supreme destination, Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. Like that, he is giving suggestion to us. That's why actually we all, as we all are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness, trying to get the lotus feet of Shri Radha Gopinath. So this thing we have to mind. Sangam tyajet mithuna pratinam mukshu sarvatmana visrijet bahirindriyani ekascharan rahasi chittamananta ishe yunjita tadbratesu sadhusu prasanga. Only sadhu sangha. And I'm remembering one thing. When Srila Prabhupada went to US for the first time, he saw, so chaotic condition. All the people engaged in the sinful life, engaged only in the sense gratificatory life. When he saw that, and he became little hopeless kind of nirash. Oh, my spiritual master has given me this order, but how can I do that? People are so engaged in the sinful life. They all just want sense gratification. How can I change them? How can I preach them Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada was thinking like that. And Srila Prabhupada got 2 points from Srimad Bhagavatam. There are 2 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Shrinvatam Sokatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Ridantasthohi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Surisatam. And other verse, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Prabhupada remembered these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. According to first verse, Shrinvatam Sokatha Krishna, what he says is, if someone has desire, if someone has got the taste to hear the Krishna Katha, to hear the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if he has got the taste like that, what Krishna does is, Vidhunoti, all the abhadrani, that means all the desire to sense gratification, all the desire to enjoy separately from Krishna, that all is what Krishna does? Vidhunoti. Krishna cleanses that all the desires. So these things we have to, we can apply this in our life also. We should, increase our taste to listen Harikatha. We should increase our taste to chant holy name, like that. And other verses, Nashta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If we hear Harikatha every day, what does that do? What is that result? Nashta Prayashu Abhadreshu. That cleanses all the abhadras. Again, desire to sense gratification and desire to enjoy separately, independently from Krishna. That all the desires will be nashta. That will be nashta. So that's the importance of Harikatha. That's the point Prabhupada remembered at that time in the US. So, and we are staying in the temple. We have got so many facilities to hear Harikatha, Sadhu Sangha, everything. Sometimes what happens is, when we get so many facilities, we tend to underestimate the value. We tend to underestimate the importance of those things that we have available. Like we have Bhagavatam class every morning available. But sometimes what happens, if this is available to everyone every day for us, we might tend to underestimate the value of this. But we shouldn't do that. We should remember, Nashta Prayasha Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. This can help us to cleanse all the anarthas, all the desire for sense gratification in our heart. And Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. That can make us determined in our bhakti, in our Krishna consciousness. There are so many examples in the Shastras. Just like first canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one example like Naimisharanya. In Naimisharanya, at that time, just before the start of Kali Yuga, all the sages become so worried. Oh, Kali Yuga is coming. This is very chaotic age, quarrelsome and full of miseries, full of problems only. So they stayed together and they thought about doing the yajna for 1,000 years. Sacrifice for 1,000 years to bring the peace in the world. They were doing like that. And one day, Sut Goswami appears in their sacrifice arena. And when Sutta Goswami appears there, they know Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami is very learned person, and he is very dear devotee of Krishna. Plus, he is the very nice reciter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He is very nice Harikatha teller also. So they know that, and they are doing their sacrifice. They have decided to do for 1,000 years. But when they see Sutta Goswami, they stop everything. Rather, they put water in the sacrificial fire, to stop the sacrifice. They put water, they stop everything, and they just go to Sutta Goswami, and they just request Sutta Goswami to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the power of Harikatha. So we should never underestimate that. We should always remind ourselves. What we need to remind ourselves? Shrinvatam Sokatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Ridantastohi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam. We should remind ourselves like that. And there is other example also about Harikatha, importance of Harikatha. While Parikshit Maharaj got cursed to die in 7 days by beaten of the Takshak snake, he got that curse, and what he desired? He desired now I have only 7 days, I will hear Harikatha. Look, that is the significance, that is the importance, that is the value of Harikatha. He desired to hear Harikatha for 7 days. I have only 7 days, I will not do anything, I only hear Harikatha. Like that. That's the importance of Harikatha actually. In fact, while listening Harikatha, he even didn't sleep, he even didn't eat anything, drink anything. He didn't eat, he didn't sleep, he didn't drink anything. He just kept on drinking the nectar of the Harikatha. That's the importance of Harikatha. And same in the same assembly, when in other part also there is Bhishmadev giving lesson to Yudhishthira Maharaj. At that time also what happens is, when all the sages from the different parts of the world, different parts of the universe, they hear the news that Bhishmadev is going to give Harikatha to Yudhishthira. Bhishmadev is going to give instruction. Bhishmadev is going to give Harikatha now. When they hear that, all the sages, great sages, Narad Muni, all the great sages, Vyasdev, they all come to the arena where Bhishmadev is speaking Harikatha to Yudhishthira. That is the importance of Harikatha. In the assembly, there is one other person also came. That is Parshuram. Parshuram is actually spiritual master of, not spiritual master, master of Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev learned the, Dhanurvidya from Parshuram. But because of certain reason, there happened a war between them. And when Parshuram heard that Bhishmadev is going to give Harikatha, he forgetting his enmity with the Bhishmadev, he came there to hear Harikatha from Bhishmadev. That's the power of Harikatha. That's the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we shouldn't neglect Harikatha, we shouldn't neglect Srimad Bhagavatam. But the condition is there. We should hear Harikatha. Yes, we should hear Harikatha. Harikatha will work. Harikatha will cleanse our heart's desires to enjoy, separately from Krishna. That will cleanse all our anarthas. But the condition is, we should hear from the right source. We should hear from the right source. There are so many Harikathas available in the market. So if we go on listening to all the people, that will just create some disturbance. That will just create disturbance in our life, in our spiritual life. So we have to listen from right source, Harikatha. That's the importance of Harikatha. So again, coming to the point, sense gratification. So as we all are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness, as we all are trying to get the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, for that what we have to do? We have to do Harikatha. We have to hear Harikatha. We have to engage ourselves in Harikatha. That's the way to mitigate our desires to sense gratification. Okay, and other thing, in the purport, Prabhupada is describing about the Vaikuntha Loka. In the spiritual world, there are reasons. Vaikuntha Loka, first comes Vaikuntha Loka, and then comes Ayodhya, and then comes Dwarka, and then comes Mathura, and then comes Golok Vrindavan. In the Vaikuntha planets, what happens is, as Prabhupada is giving here, all the inhabitants, all the associates of the Lord Vishnu. In the Vaikuntha Loka, predominating deity is Vishnu, four-handed Lord Vishnu. So all the inhabitants, all the associates of the Lord Vishnu has also got four-handed form. They all just look like Lord Vishnu. They all just look like Lord Vishnu. But there is one difference. Because difference is the Lord Vishnu has got Srivatsa mark in his chest and Kaustup jewel, but others don't have. So that's the way we can differentiate, if what's the difference between the associates and the Lord in the Vaikuntha. So that's the reason, that's the difference. Sri Vatsa mark and the Kaustup jewel. So so that is the actually Sarupya Mukti. Whoever gets Sarupya Mukti, they get the form after quitting the material body. They get the form just like that of the Supreme Lord and becomes the associate of the Supreme Lord. That's the actually Sarupya Mukti. So just by saying Sarupya Mukti, I'm getting one example. Just like there is in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, there is a story of Paundrak. He also, for his whole life, he used to think himself Krishna, think himself Vasudev, four-handed Vasudev, and pretend to be Vasudev and act like Vasudev. In fact, he used to have, duplicate hands, duplicate Sudarshan, everything. His whole life he acted as Vasudev. And one time, There war happened between Krishna and him, and Krishna finally killed him. And it is mentioned in that story. Prabhupada is writing there, as the Paundrag, whole life he acted as Vasudev. Whole life he acted as Vasudev. He got the Sarupya Mukti. He also got Sarupya Mukti, and he went to Vaikuntha Loka and became the associate of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So actually, that's the glory of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam, evam jobeti tattvataha, tektvadeham punarjanma, naiti mamiti savarjana. Janma karma chame divyam, evam jobeti tattvataha. Krishna's activities, Krishna's birth, everything, pastimes, everything is divya, transcendental. Transcendental. If ordinary person kills someone, will they get liberation? The person who is being killed, will they get liberation? They will not get liberation. But when Krishna kills, he gets liberation. That's the glory of Krishna, that's the glory of Krishna's activity. That's the Janma Karma Me Divyam. That's the Divyam. And going through the purport, contrary to obsession, there is no occupation. In Vaikuntha Loka, there is no occupation but the service of the Lord. And this service is not rendered with a purpose. That is selfless service. So all the living entities in the Vaikuntha Loka, all the associates of the Lord, they render service to the Supreme Lord without selfless service. Actually, that should be our mood. That's what we should practice from now. From now we should practice. Sometimes what happens is, we do bhakti, we do service. There might be, even if there is not gross desire, there might be some subtle desire also, which is very, very dangerous. So we should have the mood like we should serve selflessly. Just like Mahaprabhu taught us in Sikshastakam. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitamba jagadish kamaye. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahai toi. Very beautiful, right? Oh Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women. I don't want anything. I don't want any materialistic followers. I only want your causeless devotional service. So actually, that should be our mood. When we have that mood, Krishna will definitely, shower His mercy upon us. Krishna will definitely shower His mercy upon us. That should be our mood, and that's what we should practice from the sadhaka level. And there is other thing also mentioned in the purport. Although every service has a particular result, the devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. Their desires are fulfilled by the rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. Even though they don't have a desire, all the desires get fulfilled. Because Krishna is, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is just full of, just like we sang last week, Madhura Athipade Akhilam Madhuram. Krishna is full of nectar, everything is nectarian. When we serve Krishna, we get that nectarian taste, higher taste, just like we say, Yad Gatva na Nivartante. Yad Gatva na Nivartante. Yeah, Param Drishta Nivartante, right? So when we get the higher taste, we just forget the lower taste of the material engagements. So, that should be our mood. We should serve Krishna without any desire. Even though we serve Krishna without desire, Krishna will fulfill our desire. Krishna is very, very merciful. He will fulfill our desire. Just like there are so many examples in the Vrindavan Leela. Just like all the inhabitants of the Vrindavan, all the elderly Gopi Mata and all the cows also used to have desire to serve Krishna as their own child. They used to have that kind of desire. And one day what Krishna does in the Brahma Bhiman Leela, at Brahma Bhiman Leela, when Brahmaji kidnaps all the cowherd boys and all the calves, Krishna expands himself as the cowherd boys. Krishna expands himself as the cows, cowherd boys and the calves. And at that time, for 1 year, Krishna expands like that. And Krishna fulfills the desires of all the elderly gopis, fulfills the desire of the cows to serve Krishna as their son. And they all serve Krishna. Thinking that before they used to have more affection for Krishna, before they used to have more love for Krishna than their own childs, than their own calves. But when Krishna expands himself like that, they have more affection for their own cows. All the cows have more affection for their own calves, and all the elderly gopis have the own more affection for their own kids. Why? Because Krishna has expanded himself like that. Krishna has expanded himself. That's how Krishna fulfills the desires of the devotee. Even if we don't desire, Krishna fulfills the desires of the devotee. There is other example also. In Govardhan Lila. What happens in Govardhan Lila is actually in the Vrindavan, everybody just wants to be with Krishna. Everybody just wants to see Krishna only. They just want to keep seeing Krishna. Even they see Krishna continuously, they see Krishna, and when they have to separate from Krishna, they feel like we haven't seen Krishna. So that's their mood actually. All the cohort friends, they all used to be, they all also used to always be with Krishna, all the gopis, all the matai, all the elderly gopis, all the elderly gopas, all used to be with Krishna only. They all wish to be with Krishna only. But because of the lila time, because of the day and night, in the daytime Krishna only used to be with the gopas. In the night time Krishna used to be with gopis. Like that, they all didn't get the opportunity to see Krishna continuously for always like that. But they had desire. We want to see Krishna always. We want to be with Krishna only always. Like that, they had desire, and in the Govardhan Lila, Krishna fulfilled that desires of all the devotees. Indra became very, very angry that at that particular Lila, the Brajbasis did not offer worship to the Indra that particular year. And what happened? Indra became very, very angry, and he sent the Sambartak cloud, which is very dangerous cloud, which comes in the time of devastation. So he sends that Sambartak cloud, and Sambartak cloud starts to rain, torrents of rain, pours torrents of rain, and all the Brajbasis are in problem. What to do now? And they all take shelter of Krishna, and Krishna tells them, okay, you don't worry, I will save you, like that Krishna says. And Krishna goes to the Govardhan, and Krishna takes the Govardhan and picks up just like anything, just like when we play in the you might have experience of swimming in the river. When we swim in the river, we do water like this, like this. Krishna also picks up the Govardhan hill like this, just like anything. He just picks up and holds Krishna Govardhan hill with his small finger, of his left hand for 7 days. And at that time, all the inhabitants, all the gopis, all the cowherd boys see Krishna for 7 days. For 7 days they see Krishna, they be with Krishna. That's how Krishna fulfills their desire. Krishna is very, very merciful, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. And there is other example also, just like Sudama Vipra. He was, he was the friend of Krishna, childhood friend of Krishna. They took education from, what is the spiritual master? Sandipani Muni. They took education from Sandipani Muni together. They took like that. At the childhood time they met and they got friendship and they got separated for their whole life. And at the end of after getting married and after some years, Sudama Vipra becomes very poor. He becomes very poor, and in his condition was like there was nothing to eat for 10, 12 days like that. Sudama Vipra's wife used to tell their kids to fast, okay, fast for today, and tomorrow we will have some, tomorrow comes, okay, fast for today, tomorrow we will have some foods, like that, 10, 12 days like that, they were fasting, so poor they were, and Sudama Vipra's condition was that like that. But Sudama Vipra didn't have desire to, ask Krishna for the properties, for the riches. He didn't have desire to ask Krishna for their riches. And on the request, but household is not running because of no stuffs, no money, nothing. Household is not running, and Sudama Vipra's wife requests Sudama to go to Krishna. We have heard that Krishna has become the king. Krishna has become the Dwarkadish. Please go to Krishna. He might have something like that. But Sudama Vipra, on the request of his wife, he goes. But he didn't have the desire, to ask the rich from Krishna. And he goes to Krishna, and he meets Krishna there. And Krishna, he takes some food like chipped rice. he takes cheap rice. He asks cheap rice from the neighborhood, and he takes for that Krishna. That for Krishna, and Krishna, when Krishna meets, and Krishna takes that cheap rice and accepts the cheap rice. And Krishna says at that time, I have not tasted anything nectarian like this. Why Krishna says that? Because Sudama Vipra had taken that asking from others. He didn't have that. He's going out of his comfort zone, he's going out of his comfort zone. He didn't have that cheap rice nothing in his house, and he asks from neighborhood and he gives to Krishna. Plus Sudama Vipra take that with lots of love, big love for Krishna. And Krishna tastes that, and Krishna says, I haven't tasted cheap rice like this, nectarian food like this. And Krishna says, and Krishna, Krishna doesn't tell to Sudama Vipra like that, I have given you this rich in your home, I have changed everything I have changed the condition of your home, I have built the palace for you, like that. He didn't say, but Krishna, in each bite, Krishna just changes the condition of the Sudama Vipra's house. He builds the palace and he brings lots of rich in his home. Like that, Krishna fulfills the desires of the devotees. So the point is, we should have the mood to serve Krishna without any selfless desire. But our material condition is like that. We have some desire. When we serve Krishna. We serve Krishna in between service. What do you think? What for me? That kind of desire is there. Subtle desires, that is there. But we shouldn't be like that. If we have that kind of desires, we will be in shame later. We will be in shame. Krishna will fulfill all the desires, whatever desire is maybe. That's why we should pray to Radha Gopinath. Just like Mahaprabhu taught us, my dear Lord, I don't want any rich, I don't want any beautiful women, I don't want any followers, I only want your costless devotional service. Kindly please engage me in your service, lifetime after lifetime. I don't want even liberation. So that should be our mood, that should be our prayer. And what we discussed today, we discussed about how to sense gratification, what should we do as we are practicing Krishna consciousness, as we are trying to get the lotus feet of Shri Radha Gopinath, what should be our mood, what kind of activities we should do. We discussed that, and we discussed about Vaikuntha Lokas, how they have same bodily feature as the Lord Vishnu, Narayan, and we discussed about how our mood should be to serve Krishna without any desires. And Krishna fulfills all the desires, even though we have desires, Krishna fulfills all the desires. That's the mercy of Krishna. So we discussed this all today. If there is any correction and any comments, please welcome. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Just going by the last line, Prabhupada mentioned before.
Yes, Prabhu.
The Vaikuntha Vasis are offering the loving devotional service to the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu.
Will they eventually be promoted to the
Golok Vrindavan.
Will they eventually be promoted?
Actually, I heard one time in one lecture, even if we are in the Vaikuntha, they have opportunity, they have chance to advance and go to the Golok Vrindavan. I heard that. They have chance. If they keep on rendering service like that, they have chance to go. Anything? Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yes, Prabhu, yes.
So we see that, I think the second point, the third point was to stay in a secluded place. So we saw that was the reason for this program, because he was alone in the creation.
Actually, yeah, that's nice. But we have to take in this way actually. Secluded means not associating with the materialistic people. Just like silence means not talking nonsense. Silence means talking only Krishna, about Krishna. Just like the secluded means not secluded completely, not associating with the materialistic people. We should take that way. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that is actually a very nice question. That what we can do is we can remind ourselves like that, just to create some sanskara. We can practice something like every morning, just after waking up, just writing the gratitude points, and every morning going through the gratitude points, what Radha Gopinath gave me, what Prabhupada gave me till that, all the gratitude points. Just after waking up, going through that. In the middle of the day also we can go through that once, and in the night time, just before going bed, we can do that. If we practice that, there will be samskara created, and that can help us to remind ourselves always like that. Anything, Prabhu, you want to add in this? First? Okay. I end here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।